She was only 18 years old, full of energy, talent, and promise. But in just one night, everything was stolen from her. Her car was left at the beach, her belongings untouched, and by the next morning, her body was floating in the marsh. The truth behind what happened left even her closest friends in shock. This is the tragic story of Lauren Ashley, a teenager whose first love turned into her worst nightmare, and the case that left a community asking, how could something like this happen? Lauren was born on April 1st, 1993 in Boston. She grew up in a warm but busy household. Both her parents were teachers who divorced when she was young, but they shared custody and stayed united in raising her. Everyone who knew Lauren described her the same way, small in size but with a huge personality. She sang, played sports, performed on stage, volunteered for charity work, even traveled to New Orleans as a kid to help people after Hurricane Katrina. She had this kind of spark that made her unforgettable. In high school, Lauren met Nathaniel Fuja. He was the classic star athlete, tall, popular, admired by everyone. She was lively, he was serious, and for a while they seemed like the perfect couple. They started dating in their senior year and spent 3 years together. To their classmates, they looked inseparable, the football player and the girl with the big voice. But behind the scenes, things weren't so perfect. Their relationship was rocky. They broke up and got back together more times than anyone could count. There was jealousy, arguments, and moments where Nathan's temper showed through. Friends warned Lauren about him, but she wanted to believe in him, at least for a while. By her senior year, Lauren was ready to move on. She was thinking about college, her future, the kind of life she wanted. Nathan didn't fit into that picture anymore. On her 18th birthday, she finally ended it. For Lauren, it was a moment of relief, like she could finally breathe again. For Nathan, it was devastating. And that's when everything started to change. Once an energetic football player, Nathan withdrew from life completely. He stopped training, stopped hanging out with friends, and spent his days drinking and smoking. His parents tried everything: therapy, family talks, even reaching out to Lauren themselves. Nothing worked. He was sinking deeper and deeper. Lauren, kind-hearted as she was, still worried about him. She asked her friends if she should reach out. They begged her not to. They knew he was unstable and warned her it could give him the wrong idea. Still, she carried that guilt. She didn't want to see him self-destruct. In the summer of 2011, just weeks before leaving for college, Lauren went to a big graduation party with her friends. Nathan was there too, drunk, angry, and desperate. All night he followed her around trying to talk, trying to stop her from dancing with other people. At one point he was so furious he punched a tent pole, bringing the whole thing down. That night, everyone saw the danger. But no one realized just how far it would go. A few days later, on July 3rd, Lauren went to work her shift at the mall. Security cameras captured her arriving at 9:45 a.m. and leaving at 6:45 p.m. She was supposed to meet friends afterward, but she never showed up. For Lauren, that was completely out of character. She always let people know if plans changed. Her father grew worried right away. That same night, police found her red Jeep parked at the beach. The windows were down, her bag and laptop still inside, but Lauren was gone. Friends stayed at the beach all night, waiting, praying she would just show up. The next morning, a cyclist spotted something in the marsh. It was Lauren. She had been strangled and her throat was slashed. Police quickly turned their attention to Nathan. At first, he claimed Lauren had stopped by his house for a few minutes and then left. But the evidence didn't match his story. Bloodstains were found in his garage. His shoes were covered in the same mud as the marsh where Lauren's body was found. And Lauren's last text message, a single word, "Here," had been sent to him right before she disappeared. Investigators pieced it together. Nathan had lured Lauren to his house that night. She had gone out of kindness, wanting to check on him one last time. Instead, she walked into a trap. In the garage, he attacked her with an elastic cord, strangling her before slashing her throat. Afterward, he cleaned up, hid his bloody clothes and shoes, and dumped her body in the marsh. Nathan was arrested on July 4th, 2011, and charged with murder. His defense team argued he was insane, pointing to depression, head injuries from football, and drug use. They said he wasn't in his right mind, that he didn't know what he was doing. But prosecutors painted a different picture. This wasn't insanity. This was jealousy and rage. He had planned it, lured her in, and carried out the attack deliberately. The trial was heartbreaking. Lauren's parents had to sit through details of how their daughter fought for her life. In March 2013, the jury found Nathan Fuja guilty of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. For Lauren's family, there was no real comfort. Their only child was gone. But in her memory, they created the Lauren Ashley Memorial Foundation, helping teens recognize the dangers of unhealthy relationships and supporting the arts, something Lauren had always loved. Even today, her parents worry. A recent change in the law could someday allow Nathan to seek parole. For them, the thought is unbearable, believing the man who took their daughter's life should never walk free again. Lauren's story is a reminder of how fragile life is, and how dangerous it can be to ignore the warning signs in a relationship. She was just 18 with her whole future ahead of her.